First of all, my name's Jason Reed. I am the group manager for depot maintenance, repair, and overhaul here at the Logistics Center in Oklahoma City. And what I want to talk about today is a story of transformation over time, right? So lots of projects and implementations of assets that we've transformed the supportability of over the last several years. I invest a tremendous amount of time with the folks on my floor. I do what I call gimbal walks. I walk around and walk the process or walk the floor, talk to people, find their constraints, find their issues, let them tell me their story, and so on and so forth. Just a tremendous amount of time building trust. The most important thing is that the organization and the elements within enabling and or direct resources trust each other. 5 or 6 years ago, when I first got over here, it was interesting, right? So people, of course, they didn't know me. I didn't come from this particular area. They didn't know me, or how talkative I was with folks, and how whether I was approachable or not, or that kind of thing. So they weren't really excited about me walking through their shops. But now it's interesting how it's transformed over time. My gimbal walks on the floor. I walk around and my technicians grab me and say, "Hey boss, I want to show you something that we're doing." And I didn't even know they were working on it to improve it, right? They're bringing an asset in-house where it was previously vendor supported. And so that's what the gimbal walks have transformed over time it's amazing to walk around and just have folks grab you and want to tell you about what they've done. I spend a lot of time in executive meetings, and I fight for time to be on my floor. I block sections of my calendar just so I can walk around my floor, and I don't even get to do that all the time. But that's where the transformation happens, is me being able to spend time on the floor, building the trust, building the integration with those people from across all of those enabling elements. Any process producing anything, doesn't matter what it is limited by the constraints within, right? So how do you identify those constraints? How do you attack those constraints? How do you mitigate those constraints or think differently on how to solve those constraints? Rather than through what I would call old school heroics, my job is to help them find alternative or even creative solutions to bust those constraints. And when we started this journey, the cycle time for an E&R in-house, meaning folks here in the federal agency repair the assets versus a vendor, the average cycle time was about 60 to 65 days for any asset produced, right? You're talking about thousands of part numbers across all systems in the NAS, literally. And today, as of the end of October, the average cycle time was 17.52 days, right? So that represents a 70%-ish reduction plus in cycle time to produce the same family of assets that they were producing 5 or 6 years ago. And creating that culture where people are proactively doing it on their own rather than waiting for a fire. Heroes in the government are usually a lot of times defined as the folks who put out the fire that was created, right? That's the hero. They won. They put out the fire, and that's great. But my definition of a hero is somebody who put the process in place and built the trust such that the machine produces in a fashion that a fire is never created. Those places where we've done process implementations that eliminates back orders, you never hear about those because their machine is operating in such a way that it prevents that fire from ever becoming, right? And I want to make sure my folks have a platform to be able to do that. So I spend a lot of time giving them easy avenues to try to share those process improvement stories with me and the leadership team, right? So not just me, but I want the leadership team to recognize those as well. That's critically important to establishing that culture and for them to trust in each other and the agency that where the direction they're going is successful.